Yeah, how's it going, Peter?
Good, Shane. Yourself?
Good, man, good. Thanks for hopping on. So we're just having a quick chat here today, just as well as highlight how well you've done. Look, we've been here for what 17 months and done phenomenal. I suppose before that you started your journey yourself. So I suppose just give us a bit of a rundown on maybe where you are before you came on here first, Peter. Then we can maybe talk about the journey with us and so on.
I started with I had weight loss surgery on the 13th of January 2024. At that stage, I was 226 kilos. Naturally, with the surgery, you get rapid weight loss at first. I started with you then in March. I had a really, really good surgeon, and his advice to me was get yourself a personal trainer, because he said a personal trainer will understand what you want and what you want to achieve and how to achieve it. So we have a mutual friend, and I touched base with you and joined up with the program. At that stage, I was 168, I think is what it was.
That's where you already started, yeah.
Yeah. But just it really gave structure. You know, it kind of, I was able to track very easily what I was eating. I was able to exercise. You know, you walked into the gym, you knew what you had to do. And what I love about the training program is that it's actually, some days I do tend to always go pretty early in the morning.
Yeah.
And like some days I'll be heading up to the gym, and when I come out onto the road, I can either turn left, which will bring me to work, or I can turn right, which will bring me up to the gym. And I'd be driving up the road for about a mile and a half, and I was saying, fuck, when I get out on the main road here now and turning left, I'm going down to work. I'm just too tired for this shit this morning. But like, I kind of have a little debate with myself then, and I'd go up and I'd say, look, I'll do a half session, and at least be something done. And then you go up and you realize you're there with 20 minutes, and just I'm nearly halfway through it now. At this stage, I may as well finish it.
Yeah.
And it is just like the fact that you have a structure, you have a training program. You know when you're going to be finished. It's not, you're not going in picking up a few weights and turning around and saying, geez, I'll pick up another few weights now and I'll do this or whatever it is. And the program is then structured, and it works. It works very, very well.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely makes it easier when you have something to follow. When when you're going into the gym, you know what you're doing, you know how long it's going to take you. That is a huge help. Just back to, I suppose, when you started, like at that point, you weren't doing any exercise yourself, really.
No, very, 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 very little.
Yeah.
Very
so,
little. And we built it up extremely, extremely slowly. Without realizing that I built it up kind of slowly. Like, we started off very, very simple. I remember, we say the rest periods when I was in the gym, sure, like I was saying, this is a waste of fucking time. Like a minute and a half, they're doing nothing. Sure, Jesus Christ, sure, how is this going to ever work?
Yeah.
But the more that the intensity was increased in the gym, the more you realize I actually need that minute and 30 seconds. And then, as per usual, you try in a sneaky one where you might only have a minute of a rest period. And then the tongue is hanging out then, But definitely from a training and the food side of things, it is a really, really good program. Like.
Yeah, but thanks. Yeah, look, I know. I suppose I remember when you came on board, like the whole thing for us was to change your behaviors, to get you into a better routine, to build new habits and stuff, to complement, the surgery to help you keep progressing. But then obviously we were thinking long term, and for you to be able to maintain this progress for forevermore, and that's something you've done really well. And I know every time you go back, we're checking this up, we're still amazed. Geez, you're still making progress, Peter. You're going further than they thought you would ever go. Like, and I suppose that comes back to the effort you put in, the level of consistency you've shown has been unbelievable. Since we started working together, it's been like 17 months now, and there hasn't been a week where you haven't done your training. You haven't showed up, where you haven't done what you need to do with your food. Outside of that, then, your lifestyle has really changed. I remember at the start, like it was just maybe training, that was it. Then you were adding in a bit of cycling, and now you're cycling to work. Now, I think it was Christmas morning, you sent me a message, you were climbing a mountain, like in these kind of things that you've completely changed in the kind of your how you go about things and that's like a massive credit to you. Like,
but what it is that what it is, like I always refer back to that the book that you recommend in training, that mindset. Like I definitely would say probably the biggest things I've done was pretty much implement everything in of mindset. Which in terms of what, things might seem hard, but when you go and do them, actually, they're not that bad at all. Like Christmas morning climbing up the hill there. It was lovely to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Because I was certainly gone to a stage where I never thought I'd see the top of that hill again. But just that again, another story I kind of tell a lot is when I went to the gym first. I was kind of there with and looking at these machines, didn't really understand how they work. Yeah. And there was a girl there, and I was kind of there saying, "Geez, will I ask this one how this thing works, or won't I?" And like I was saying, it was my mindset was stopping me from asking her, because when I did ask her, she couldn't have been any more helpful.
Yeah.
Whereas I was kind of saying in my own head at first, I was kind of saying, "She's living me now from nearly 30 so on, asking this one how I'm going to use the machine. She'll only be laughing at me."
Yeah.
She was brilliant. It was my mindset was wrong.
Yeah.
And I'd say from that day on, I implemented, like, now I work in a quarry, we make blocks. Sometimes you could drop a bale of blocks, and there's no issue. You can get the load and shovel, you can shove the bale of blocks off the yard, and that's it, sorted. But now I look at the bale blocks that are in the heap on the ground and say, I nearly got 10 minutes exercise out of stacking them back up again. You know, and it's that simple. The
Yeah,
cycling thing, I'm 9.5 kilometers from work. Uh, it takes, I have it down now to about 20 minutes to cycle to work and cycle and another 20 home. It takes 15 minutes to go in the Jeep. So for an extra, for 10 minutes time more, I'm getting an extra 40 minutes of exercise,
yeah,
or maybe slightly more even.
yeah,
But, you know, again, it's just mindset of seeing, of realizing that these things can be done quite easily.
yeah, yeah. And I suppose, yeah, right, go
You
ahead, yeah,
know, without actually changing your entire life. Like, you know
yeah,
what I mean? Like,
mm,
there's 20 kilometers cycling done a day for 10 minutes.
yeah.
You know, where would you get it?
Yeah, 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 exactly. Like, yeah, as long as it's all those little shifts that matter, like, I was saying around the food, and it's supposed changing and fighting kind of choices you were making and choosing better options and so on. Like, all those little things add up, and it's really helped. Like, yeah, 100%. The mindset shift you've made has been huge. The habits you've built in, and put in place, and the changes you made to your routines, like that, your cycling and so on. Like, look, they're all the things that have got you to this point. I suppose, and those are, we do it to make sure where you are now. You mentioned that you were 226 kilos then. You were 168 when you joined in March, and now you're 103. Like, it's an absolutely unbelievable achievement. I suppose, again, those are huge, but they all come back to your day to day, your week to week. You always show up. You're always there putting in the effort and being consistent with what you're doing. And even in that, you've had a hernia surgery as well, and been laid up for a while and still managed, come back and fly on from there. So, massive well done. But I suppose what kind of impact has it had on your life day to day, or where you are now? How do you feel?
I should think, like, I'm actually on holidays in Tenerife at the moment. Um, I would have been afraid to get on an airplane before because I wouldn't have been able to fit in the seat. You know, it's as simple as that. I'm loving it. And again, it's kind of when if you look at a place a mile away and you have to walk there and you're 226 kilos, it may as well be on the moon. At 100 kilos, we see a place a mile away, sure, we'll run down there for a few minutes. Like, it's a big difference. Like, and plus, obviously, the 100 kilos is one thing, but the extra fitness is a big help,
Yeah,
big massive help.
yeah, definitely, yeah. I suppose that's one side of it, that really has improved as well, the fitness, the strength. You mentioned earlier when you started in the gym, it was kind of basic enough, and it was very basic, but it was enough for where you were at,
Yeah. But
over time.
it's been all real small steps too.
Yeah,
It may look like on paper, it may look like a massive step, but it's just been all really small increments just implemented, with your support, like, because it would have been extremely difficult to be where I am without having some program to work to,
yeah,
because otherwise you have no plan, you have no, you think but you know nothing, and none of us really do know a whole lot unless you're kind of involved in what's, like, even to eat your protein, so you're not starving with the hunger in the evening, which makes you more want to eat rubbish rather than, at least if you've reached your protein target, well, hey, you won't be actually starving for the snack,
yeah,
and it just makes it easier to, like, you can still eat the snack if you want to, but, like, you're not, it makes it easier to make the choice not to eat it.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I know, yeah, look, that is a big part so what we do is to try and educate lads and make sure you understand that what's going to help you, how it's going to benefit you, why you're doing it, and so on. You've talked those things on, excuse me, you've talked those things on board really well, and implemented them really well. And again, just back to the consistency you do with it. And again, you don't need to be perfect to make progress, but it's just about being consistent and showing up week after week. And that's really what you've done exceptionally well. Um,
Yeah, it's also like the planning, teaching you to plan.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? If I'm going to the gym tomorrow morning at 4:30, like, I'm not walking around the house at 7 o'clock, at 4:15 tomorrow morning looking for my gear bag, wondering where that is. Like,
yeah,
it's there, it's ready, it's there beside the door, ready to go from the night before.
yeah, yeah,
And it's the same with food.
yeah,
What am I going to have today? No, that has gotten a million times easier. At first, that was extremely difficult because you're trying to track everything, you're trying to measure everything, and I did actually find that really difficult.
yeah,
Whereas now it's just, I found stuff that I like,
yeah.
I kind of know how much of it I can eat,
Mm,
and I get satiated from it. Like, and then I'll add in something else that'll be nice.
yeah,
A treat of some kind a couple of times a week, no bother whatsoever.
yeah,
Well, these ones I'm getting the basics in,
mm,
I'm happy enough.
yeah, yeah. Like 100%. And I suppose, look, you're not alone in that. Everyone will kind of find that initial period a bit more difficult because, look, you're trying to understand what works for you, and you're trying to find what works for you, get that bit of knowledge around, okay, what do I need to be eating, how much of it, and so on. And then, look, you're 17 months in. Like, it's a long time ago since you reached the point where you knew, okay, well, these are my kind of go-to meals. This is what I like for breakfast. This is what, and this is highly nutritious. It's going to fill me up. It's going to give me what I need. It's a nice sustained release of energy and so on. So yeah, you're in a really good spot now. And the fact that you have your kind of go-to, you've changed, okay, your routines, your habits around what you eat. And, again, you can just work around that then. As long as you're doing the basics well, week in, week out, then you have room to add in the other stuff, and the treat or the beer or whatever, you want as well. But yeah, look, it's a culmination of the effort and the consistency you've shown that's got you to this point. And look, really happy for you. You know, that you've done brilliant, and everything you've got has been well earned, you know, and well deserved. So credit to you. Look, I suppose if anyone watching this is back in the position you were in, or you know, maybe struggling a bit, what kind of advice would you give them, Peter? Or what do you think they
Uh,
should do? Or
I suppose it's as simple as this. Everything starts with the first step. Uh, my original first step was the surgery, but my first real productive, like what I lost through the surgery, I lost through the surgery because I couldn't eat anything. What I've lost since joining your program, like, is done through work and done through, you know, tracking and measuring and, you know, knowing where you are. Like I would definitely not be where I am weight wise. So like when I say it's the small steps, right, the first big step was the surgery. The next big step was joining your program, and then it was all just small steps then after that. So, you know, take the first step, see where you get, see where that lands you.
yeah, for sure. No, that's a really good advice. You know, every journey starts with the first step, and then you have to take that one. And yeah, just on what you said there, well, I suppose, remember when we first spoke, like the surgery was huge, like, you know, it got you to where you want to be, but I suppose it didn't address the underlying issues, you know, and that's what we spoke about at the start. It was, okay, these issues are still here, you know, your behaviors, your habits, you know, we need to make the healthier habits, we need to make better choices, we need to get better routines and get you exercising consistently and stuff like that. And that was our whole ethos, you know, if we can change these underlying issues, well then, you know, it's going to propel you on to where you are today. And that's what, you know, you work really hard to do. You know, you've changed your behaviors, you've changed your habits, you've changed your routines, you've changed your thinking, you've changed your mindset. And I suppose, you know, the proof is in the pudding. You know, you're 103 kilos today, sitting in Tenerife, loving life. So, and look, you're not even stopped yet. You're still progressing. You know, month on month, you're still progressing. So, um, again, massive well done. You know, looking forward to seeing what the next few months bring, and just keep up the good work.
100%. Thanks a million for all your help and support. It's
No worries,
greatly appreciated.